Consolidation accounting immediately after acquisition. In the previous learning objective, we assigned the differential and we assigned the book value of the assets. Let's go ahead and look at how that's going to incorporate into the consolidation process. Here's the three-part worksheet. I want to point out a couple of things before we get going. One, we see that the investment agreed to our initial purchase price, but the big thing that I want to point out is that the subsidiaries' values are listed at their book value. It's not listed at the fair value that we bought them at. There are two methods of handling this in the consolidation process. There's push-down accounting and push-up accounting. We're going to only focus on one, which is the push-down accounting, where we are going to bring the assets up to their fair value, and we'll do that in a second. But under this method, the parent's records are kept at cost, the subs records are kept at cost, and any adjustments for fair value are done during the consolidation. So let's go through and start the consolidation process, and we'll look at the push-up in the next EJE2. EJE1 we've done in Chapter 2 and 3, so you should be comfortable doing this at this point. We're going to record the subsidiaries' equity or net assets. And remember, we broke this down into two components. The book value was $850,000. The differential was $800,000. The combination of the two equaled our purchase price. We're going to debit common stock, debit retained earnings, and then credit the investment. EJE2 here is a new entry for this chapter, and it's when we assign the differential. And remember, the differential consists of a couple of things. One, the goodwill, and two, the excess fair value over book value, which we've identified in our differential schedule. We listed all those out, and this is going to be the differential amount that we record each and every period when we do our EJEs. Notice on this differential schedule, again, there's no cumulative depreciation. We'll get to that in year one. So what we're going to do is do just what the schedule says. The positive numbers represent debits. The negative numbers or bracketed numbers represent credits. So we're going to make the following entry based off that initial amount. Debit goodwill, debit inventory, debit land, debit building and equipments, credit the bond payable, and then credit the investment sub. We see in the two entries, just like I mentioned earlier, that we take care of the total purchase price in two components. One, the book value of $850,000, and secondly, the other value of $800,000, which is the differential, for $1,650,000. And by doing that, we've done a couple of things. One is we've eliminated our investment, and second, we have now recorded our assets at fair value. How do we do that? Well, if you look back at the original schedule, the sub's book value of inventory was $133,000. The fair value was $192,000. So what we did is we took the book value, added to it any excess amount in EJE2, and it brought the inventory to its fair value that we bought it at, $192,850. The same happened on the land. The sub's book value was $99,000. We paid $133,650. So in EJE2, that excess amount, we wrote it up. So it's in the consolidated financials, the land has a value of $133,650, which is the fair value that we paid. The same thing happens with building and equipment. Again, notice that we include the accumulated depreciation in this computation. $1,235,000 less $507,000 plus the excess of $182,000 gives us the $910,000. We wrote the bonds up as well. In this instance, the bonds' fair value was greater than the book value. We wrote them up by $112,000. And the last thing we did is we assigned goodwill a value. Remember that the subsidiary can't have internally generated goodwill, neither can the parent. So we're going to have to assign it through the purchase price, and we'll assign it to the consolidated financials with the EJE process, and that's going to come from the differential process, the differential schedule as well.